I think for me, the biggest thing, especially with my background in molecular biochemistry, understanding the body and understanding how important it is that the body does the work. I think that that's probably the biggest key to what we have. To understand that we had the abilities to send our own people to go get and ascertain our products, to utilize, so that when we make our products, we're going to see the same results over and over. Well, when you have the ability in a company and the care that they took, that the nutrients that we get, that there's so many times when they're going to give us raw ingredients and we'll test them and go, no, it's not containing the things we need. And for them to take that kind of care, you just didn't see that in the other companies that I saw. And so as a result of it, we can expect that same expectation of repeating over and over. And it was why the FDA gave us the ability to be able to say, reduces oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days.
So, I always think of myself as a simple nurse, and I have extensive medical experience for over 30 years in the pediatric ICU, and watched my father struggle through chronic health conditions, and went back to nurse practitioner school because I wanted to understand what was happening to him. I became a nurse practitioner and started to manage chronic disease processes until COVID, and I got sick to my stomach. And I decided, I made it a mission that I was going to help people in a different way, and set out to study cellular medicine and learned about NRF2 activation, cellular science, and I was very excited about what that meant for the population and aging and chronic disease, because that was what I was battling with. And so I am traditionally trained, and at that time decided to practice in a more holistic, functional way. My mission since then has been to do that. So when I met Marisa and she mentioned nutrigenomics, I had been working with that, and I said, wait a minute, you might have even said NRF2 activation. And I thought, who the heck said that? Why would you say that? So that's why my neck snapped back. I've not heard that before. So I said, I have to talk to you. And that was the beginning, and that was 2 years ago. Since then, because I have a servant's heart, so I opened my boutique because I really want to help people. I started to take it myself, and I started offering my clients, and something miraculous started happening. People were getting better faster, and I've been doing by this point oxidative therapies like ozone therapy, peptide therapy, all the different things. So I'm doing some pretty powerful things. But I wanted something where my clients would come in and they would get these incredible treatments, but they would quickly start tanking again. And I was throwing supplements at them and people would complain, and I got sick of it. So when I saw 5 of the ingredients that I would give to people in one pill, I got super excited.
Because I have done this for almost 40 years, and because I have been introduced to so many different products, I have seen a lot of things in these 40 years. In this last year, I have never seen, the results that I have seen in my patients and friends and families like I have seen with these products. So that is my mission and my passion, to let everybody know that there is definitely a difference.
Is that the last time that I visited my doctor, I'm 76, and she handed me this sheet of paper that said my biological age is 60.
But you all do need to know, at the time when the surfer told me about this, I was given 6 to 9 months to live. We can't say we treat, mitigate, prevent, or cure, but I'm here, and I'm grateful.
How many years ago was that?
Let's see, 2000, it was 2009, 10.
So 16
Yes.
years.
And the best part, wait for it, this is the one small, guess what, my hematology oncologist, after being on just the NRF2 bed, they called me and they told me that the labs messed up and I had to have my blood work done again. Which it was because when they saw the blood work, he could not believe it. This is the top hematology oncologist in the state of Arizona, okay? And he came into the room and sat on the table with me as I'm in my paper robe, so comfortable, and was going through everything and going, explain this. And you know what, for me, the rest is history. It was like, you know what, I wasn't gonna do this, I just needed to get well then. But you know what, so many other things have happened then, the stories go on, and I'm just so grateful.
So really, I mean, why are we all here? But for me, like, it started not because I was looking for a company, I wasn't looking for a product. I was working with Carrie's son Luke, and we did everything that we know. And I'm no stranger to teaching and training and creating supplements, but we have done everything we could with their son, and he was making just small bits of progress. And when he started the Axio, it was like something switched in him. It's all of a sudden, all the things we had been doing worked. It's like something switched where everything that was there, everything he'd been learning, everything he'd been experiencing, it's like he could now get it out. And I didn't practice at that point, close to 15 years. It didn't make sense in my head that something like as simple as a product that didn't look that special, those were my words, would make this change in this little guy. And believe me, he didn't want to take any more supplements. And he didn't want to do more therapy. He's doing 35 hours a week. And that's what it took for me to be open to the idea that Carrie, who was, Bath and Body Works store manager originally, has something that I needed. So that led me to South Dakota on a week's notice to meet the scientists to develop the product and to be introduced into network marketing. I'd never thought I'd be in a place like this. I got paid to teach, not anything, and not coming in here to just do something like this. But I couldn't deny what I'd seen in her son, and so that has changed what Janet alluded to. When I came back from South Dakota, I took all my most difficult patients and I said, hey, these are the people, I've done everything we could, they just weren't getting better, they were doing everything I asked them to do, and I was getting results with them that I hadn't got in 15 years. And I knew that what we had created was different, because we didn't have to guess, does this turn body's potential? It does. So you don't have to doubt the products. I think the products don't have to be proven, but they only work if you put it in you. What I can tell you is this, that the products, if you look at the science and put them in your body, you have now a tool that is available to you if you use it, that's going to allow your body to perform at levels that it hasn't in a really, really long time. And we know that from the studies, we know that from the experience, super grateful about that. From the business standpoint, I would say this, network marketing, if you let it get into you, will help you become better than you thought you could be. It'll develop you into things you always wanted to be, if you'll take and embrace that process, because it's going to be a lot about personal growth. It'll be a lot about your ability to impact other people, and that has shaped my life to where I'm a better dad, because now I have time. I've always had good business, but I always had to be in the business to make money, but where I really want to be is just to be a better dad. So if you allow these to embrace the products, they work, just put them in you. If you learn to do the business in the right way, it can give you the time back that you're looking for, but do it the right way. And that's really what I've learned from Carrie and many of the leaders in this room.
But they said something about Carrie's son that actually caught my attention. And it was about him having autism and having some struggles and how it helped him. And I had a daughter that was struggling with reading and learning disabilities, and really, she can draw a picture, play a piano, do math like no tomorrow, but she could not read without driving everybody crazy. If we read scriptures in the morning in our house, everybody said, oh, does she have to read today? Because it took forever. So that's what caught my attention, and that's what got me into LifeVantage.
When she mentioned this to me about Protandim and that it fights free radical damage, I thought I would have heard about this, because I've always been about the inside-out approach to beauty. But you don't know what you don't know. As I experienced Protandim NRF2, that was it for me. It really addressed a lot of issues that I was dealing with in my life and my health. And to me, as someone, as an holistic esthetician, someone who's looking at how we can age optimally and address oxidative stress and all of the visible issues that Tara beautifully mentioned that come along with aging, that was it. So everyone needs cellular health, and that's the basis of everything. And so with that foundation, not only are we going to look better, but we're going to feel better and have more life in our years.
It's just brought me a new look on life. Like I said, I've been used to taking care of people almost my whole entire life, but just seeing your story and people's stories and the lives that we're touching is probably the most impactful. because even on the financial health, so they're turning passion into, their purpose into passion and their wellness into wealth. Because if you're struggling financially, it's going to affect your health. So when you look at both ways and you give people an option of what they want to do with this, I think that the people's lives that we're changing with this, starting with health, and them realizing that they have an option now to get out of a toxic kind of situation work-wise, that's all of that. It's just knowing that I'm empowering people to make big, huge changes in their life. And all the new people that I'm getting to meet along the way that I would not have met. So, thank you.
Brett.
All right, 30 seconds. I'd say impact, ability to influence more people, and to be a part of more experiences, hearing your stories. Time, ability to have more time options to be with my family, those I love, travel. And I would really say for me, growth and purpose. It's when my mom passed away, there's a lot of me that kind of like left, and like this has got me back doing what I needed to be right here where I am right now.
I would say impact, and here's what I know: we all want to have an impact in someone's life, whether it's a family member, a friend, your employees, whatever it is. We all want to have impact because that drives purpose. And so LifeVantage has given me that. It's given me community during some very tough times. It's given me community because I know that I can keep going because I have that purpose. There's one more person that needs to know what we have, and it's just a sense of it's what drives me.
I have a lot of children I treat. All of them have gut problems. I've worked with a lot of moms that have gut problems. So to me, this is a way we have an ability to get these fruits, vegetables, and all the good foods into people in a way that we never had before. We'll be able to have the ability to get all these great things into them and activate their peptides. It's a very, very easy conversation for people to have more success with what they're doing. Because if you can't digest it or assimilate it or eliminate it, you're going to have problems with whatever you have problems with. If you think that maybe PA4 or microbiome health might help you, just go type in the internet or ChatGPT, whatever you're worried about, and microbiome problems or gut problems. And guess what? Like probably 100% are going to come up correlated. And to have something that activates peptides, nobody's talking that way. Everybody knows about peptides. Who hasn't heard of a peptide? Anybody? Anybody not heard of a peptide? Everybody knows what a peptide is. If your body can't make your own peptides, you can't regulate it. We now have the ability to activate the production of peptides by your body to make it.
I was working as Director of Nutrition Services at a cardiovascular hospital in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and my very, very dear friend, Dr. Gordon, introduced me to LifeVantage. And I knew a lot about oxidative stress before I went to that meeting. I had been teaching it to my patients, to the doctors, and to the staff about oxidative stress. And the reason why I wanted everybody to eat the Mediterranean diet was because it was the one dietary pattern that was the most powerful at reducing oxidative stress. And if you reduced oxidative stress, you would get to the root cause of heart disease. So you see, I already had that, and I knew that going into that meeting. And so to me, it was kind of like a no-brainer, because first of all, I wasn't going to be like that gray-haired doctor in that ABC primetime saying, I don't want to wait until I'm 80 years old, and I wish I would have taken it, because I was 61 at the time, and I'm thinking I knew that you don't have to accept decline in aging as you get older. And so I was all about that, for sure. And I was also thinking about, in my mind, Rolodexing. Do you remember the Rolodex? Anybody? Rolodexing all my family members and my girlfriends that have all these health problems. All I could think of is, oh my goodness, I have to tell them about this. And that's when Dr. Gordon said, well, you're going to have to become, a consultant in LifeVantage. And I'm like, oh no, I don't have time for this. I'm busy. But I did get started with LifeVantage, and all I did was share the ABC Primetime Investigative Report. I didn't even think about the money part of this, honestly, at all. I just thought I had to get this to the hands of people. And I actually really needed extra income. I was a widow, I've been widowed for about a year. And I was looking at my retirement account and I was short like a couple $1,000s a month. So I really hadn't really been, thinking about the money part of this business. But, I was out there sharing and people were enrolling and I would get these checks. I signed up when they sent us a check. And I was so busy. I was running my husband's little real estate company, his business, and had these renters. And when the checks would come in from the renters, I put them in this little basket. And so when my Life Antiques checks came in, I stuck them in the same basket. I didn't even open them because I was thinking, $10, $5, whatever. I had no idea how the compensation plan worked. And it was after about 6 to 8 weeks when I finally opened up the checks because I would deposit the rent. And I opened up my checks from Life Antiques, $1,000. And a little still small voice inside of me said, "This is my provision for you." I knew it was God speaking to me at that point, that He had provided this business for me. So I decided I would really start to try to, teach this like a business and run it like a business. And so I remember I was just getting started and doing well, and then my boss came into my office, and he said, the previous director in the marketing department joined a network marketing company, and I made her choose between her company and her job. And that was another wake-up call for me, because I always thought I was like security. Do you ever think that, oh man, I'm going to be in this job forever? I have built this hospital, but he said, I was the one who, put you as the face of this hospital, whatever. Anyway, so I knew at that point that this business is what God had provided for me, and that I really needed to take this serious. And it was just within 2 years, I was able to walk out of my windowless office and into this new freedom that I now have and I now live.
I had a terrible thing happen to me, which I didn't at the time realize was a bulging disc. This guy here gave me his belt. He literally took his belt off and wrapped it around me after adjusting me. Do you remember that? Did you get your belt back?
Yes, he did.
Yes, you did. Okay. But that helped me to stabilize my hips and whatever was going on. I later learned that I had a bulging disc at L5S1. 6 months later, it was 50% reduced. That wasn't what I was told would be the case. So and we can't treat, mitigate, or all that good stuff, but I'm telling you, I feel that being on these products was one of the reasons, the collagen and that Protandim. Watching my clients just get better faster got excited for me. And so I called up Marisa one day and I said, "Marisa, what is a hyper wallet?" or something like that. This story is great. So I told me about the back office. I went into my hyper wallet, and this had been about 8 months, I believe, into the business, and there was almost $6,000 in there. I said, "This is a true business." Well, since then, I think I heard Brett, Doctor, you spoke on stage, and I heard him say, this made an impact on me. One by one in my clinic, I can help one person at a time. With this opportunity, I can tell one person who tells two, and so forth and so forth. How many people am I helping? Here's my mission coming to a helm. So that's why I'm here.
Powerful. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I grew up in a very medical kind of a family. So a year ago when they released our GLP and our MB Core, he said, "You're really gonna want to look at this now." And I said, "Okay." So I said, "Okay, if it works, then I will talk." Well, it did.
She's talking.
And I
Gave me some financial freedom, time freedom as well. But the coolest thing it did is actually allowed me to lose weight with the collagen and allowed me to gain disc height back in my L4, L5 disc. So phenomenal things.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being on this panel. We are so blessed here in Arizona to have you.